Stop! Before you watch another second of this video, look down at your left hand, or think about someone who has a ring on theirs. That diamond was never rare. There are hundreds of millions of carats of them sitting in warehouses right now. The ground is full of them. They are one of the most abundant gemstones on Earth. Geologists know this. Miners know this. The company that sells them knows this better than anyone. And yet, right now, today, someone, somewhere, is about to spend 2 months of their salary on one. Nervous, excited, convinced they are buying something precious. They are not buying a rare stone. They are buying a story. A story invented by one company, engineered by one advertising agency, planted into global culture so completely, so ruthlessly, so brilliantly that it survived court cases, criminal convictions, a European Commission investigation, and 100 years of scrutiny. 1867. Diamonds are discovered near Kimberley, South Africa. Within years, so many diamonds pour out of the ground that the men who own the mines face a crisis. Not a shortage, a flood. There are too many diamonds. Prices are collapsing. The mines are drowning in their own product. Here is the brutal truth that the industry understands immediately. A diamond has no inherent value. It is carbon. It is common. The only thing that makes it worth anything is the belief that it is rare. And the mines are destroying that belief 1 carat at a time. So in 1888, the mine owners do something that will define the next 150 years of human relationships. They merge. Beers Consolidated Mines is formed. Not to mine more diamonds, to control how many reach the world. This is the founding insight of everything that follows. The product is not the diamond. The product is the scarcity. Over the following decades, De Beers builds the most powerful supply chokehold in the history of any industry. They create the Central Selling Organization, later renamed the Diamond Trading Company, a single pipe through which almost every rough diamond on Earth must pass. A small, hand-selected club of buyers, called site holders, are permitted to purchase stones through tightly controlled events. They cannot negotiate freely. They cannot buy elsewhere. The European Commission, in its own official legal decision, records that De Beers has complete discretion over what each buyer receives. For much of the 20th century, De Beers controls 85 to 90% of the world's rough diamond supply. The Commission calls De Beers the industry's self-confessed custodian. And when new diamond producers emerged in the 1990s and threatened to flood the market, De Beers does not lower prices. It buys the excess stones and locks them away. Its stockpile grows from $2.5 billion to $5 billion. Not to sell, to bury. Because a diamond the world cannot see is a diamond that cannot destroy the price. Every diamond you have ever admired through a jeweler's glass, its rarity is not geological. It is a filing cabinet decision made in a boardroom. But controlling supply is only half the machine. The other half is controlling what you feel. 1938, diamond prices are falling. De Beers turns to the Philadelphia agency N.W. Ayer with an extraordinary brief. The brief is unlike anything the advertising world has ever received. Do not sell diamonds, change what diamonds mean. What follows is the most audacious campaign in marketing history. Ayer does not just take out ads, they infiltrate culture itself. They place diamonds in Hollywood films, on the fingers of women America wants to be. They brief newspaper columnists. They seed diamond engagement ring images into fashion magazines. They do not ask people to buy diamonds. They teach people that diamonds are what love looks like. Then, in 1947, they produce 4 words that will generate more revenue than any slogan ever written. A diamond is forever. The slogan becomes official in 1947. It first appears in a De Beers advertisement in 1948. It runs in every single De Beers engagement ring ad from that moment forward, and the results are almost impossible to believe. By 1951, just 3 years later, Ayer reports back to De Beers with this finding. Jewelers across America are telling customers that a girl is not engaged unless she has a diamond engagement ring. Read that again. That is all it takes to turn a marketing slogan into a social rule. In the 1930s, fewer than 10% of American men proposed with a diamond ring. By 1990, approximately 80% of engagement rings contain a diamond. 10% to 80% in 50 years. That is not love spreading across America. That is the most precise, deliberate, documented behavioral engineering operation in commercial history. The Atlantic argued in 1982 that a diamond is forever did more than sell romance. It discouraged resale, keeping stones off the secondary market and helping De Beers protect price control. Then come the salary rules, the final weapon. De Beers' advertisement pushed spending benchmarks into the culture. First 1 month's salary, then the line that should make every person who has ever bought a diamond engagement ring go quiet. How can you make 2 months' salary last forever? Not a price, an identity test. By 1988, De Beers is spending $120 million per year to promote diamonds worldwide, plus an additional $25 million in cooperative retail advertising. They are not selling a stone, they are selling a story about what kind of person you are if you buy it, and what kind of person you are if you don't. Here is the part the jewelry industry does not want in this video. For decades, what De Beers is doing is so obviously anti-competitive that the American government refuses to let its executives set foot on US soil. In a 1945 Supreme Court case, the US government charges foreign diamond firms with conspiring to restrain and monopolize American diamond commerce. Court records show allegations that defendants structure their sales to stay outside US jurisdiction, making transactions abroad, requiring advance payments, deliberately engineering the business around American law. De Beers does not send executives to America for decades. The legal exposure is too great. Then, in 2004, the wall breaks. De Beers Centenary AG pleads guilty in a US federal court. The charge? Conspiring to fix prices in the industrial diamond market. The sentence, a $10 million criminal fine. The DOJ press release is unambiguous. De Beers, the company selling you forever, is a convicted price fixer. The European Commission, through multiple decisions in the 2000s, forces De Beers to end its purchasing agreements with the Russian diamond producer Alrosa. Agreements the Commission determines risk maintaining De Beers' grip on the rough market and blocking competition. The cartel was not just alleged, it reached a guilty plea, a criminal fine, and European intervention. Now the story reaches the present, and this is where it gets genuinely dangerous for De Beers. Because someone builds a machine that grows diamonds in a lab. Not fake diamonds, not glass, real diamonds, chemically, physically, and visually identical to the stones pulled from the ground. It collapses. De Beers' own statements confirm it. Wholesale lab-grown diamond jewelry prices have fallen approximately 90% since 2018. 90%! In 2018, De Beers launches its own lab-grown diamond brand, Lightbox, to try to contain the damage. In 2025, it announces its intention to close Lightbox entirely because the strategy fails. Because you cannot defend a scarcity story when anyone with a factory can make the product. The entire architecture, 150 years of supply control, the single channel, the stockpiles, the site holders, the criminal convictions, the $120 million annual advertising machine, all of it is built on one assumption, that nobody can make a diamond without a mine. The rarity is not in the stone, It is in the vault. The question they spent 150 years avoiding. Here is what De Beers spent decades trying to bury. The engagement ring tradition is not ancient wisdom. It is modern market design, built through advertising, price anchoring, and a story your grandparents were sold to. So here's the question. You now know the rarity was engineered. You know the tradition was manufactured. You know the company that sold you forever pleaded guilty to price fixing in a federal court. You know lab-grown diamonds are chemically identical and cost a fraction of the price. And you still feel something when you look at a diamond engagement ring. That feeling is real. It is yours. Nobody can take it from you. But ask yourself, honestly, sitting with it, is it love you are feeling? Or is it the most expensive, most successful, most meticulously engineered advertisement ever created, still running after 75 years inside your head? De Beers called it forever. And they were right about that part, because the campaign is not running on television anymore. It is running inside you.